I woke up at 5 a.m. and I almost quit before I even opened my eyes because the first thing my brain said was, "This is stupid, go back to sleep." And honestly, it sounded very convincing. But I had already made a rule. No negotiation, no snooze, no second chances. Just get up. So I did something that felt way harder than it should be. I sat up. That was it. And weirdly, that one small movement felt like I had already won something. But here's the part nobody tells you. Waking up early is not the hard part. Staying consistent when it stops being exciting, that's where everything breaks. Day 1 feels like a movie montage. You're motivated, you're disciplined. You feel like your life is about to change.
Day 3, different story. Day 5, your brain starts negotiating like a lawyer. Just today, you need rest. You can start again tomorrow. And tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow never shows up. So I removed the option to quit. I treated 5 a.m. like a meeting I could not cancel. And the scary part? There was no backup plan. If I failed, I failed. No restarting, no, I'll try again next week. Just failure. That pressure changed everything. Because suddenly, this wasn't optional. It was identity. Day 1 felt like dragging my body through concrete. My eyes burned. My head felt heavy. The silence? Way louder than I expected. Because when you wake up that early, the world isn't distracting you anymore. It's just you and your thoughts. And that can get uncomfortable real quick. No notifications, no scrolling, no noise. Just raw, uninterrupted thinking. Most people avoid that. I used to avoid that. But that's where something interesting started happening. Day 2, still hard, but slightly less painful. Day 3, I woke up before the alarm. That confused me. Like, why is my body cooperating? By day 5, something shifted. It stopped feeling like a fight and started feeling like a routine. And that's the moment everything changed. Because once something becomes a routine, you don't need motivation anymore. You just do it. By day 7, mornings felt stable, not magical, not life-changing, just predictable. And that predictability, that's power. Because when your mornings are controlled, your day doesn't control you. I started using those early hours differently. No phone, no distractions. Just thinking, planning, working. And for the first time in a long time, I felt ahead of my day, not chasing it. That feeling is addictive. By day 10, my productivity didn't explode. It sharpened. Less wasted time, more focused effort. Same hours, better output. And here's where it gets interesting. Nothing dramatic happened. No sudden transformation. No overnight success moment. Just small improvements stacking quietly in the background. But those small improvements, they start compounding. I noticed I could focus longer, decide faster, think clearer. And the weird part was, it didn't feel forced. It felt natural, like my brain was finally working with me, not against me. By day 15, I stopped thinking about waking up early. It just happened. That's when discipline turns into identity. You're not trying anymore. You are that person now. And that shift is dangerous because once you see yourself differently, you can't unsee it. By day 20, I noticed something deeper. Awareness. Of everything. How I spend time, what distracts me, what actually matters. Things I used to ignore became obvious, like how often I reach for my phone without thinking, or how easily I avoided difficult tasks. Waking up early didn't fix those things, it exposed them. And once you see the problem clearly, you can't pretend it's not there anymore. That's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. I started replacing habits without even forcing it. Less scrolling, more creating. Less reacting, more thinking. And that shift, it changes everything. Because creating builds momentum. Consuming kills it. By day 25, waking up at 5 a.m. felt normal, like brushing your teeth. No resistance, no drama, just part of the day. And that's when I realized something important. The goal was never 5 a.m. That was just the entry point. The real change was happening internally. My mood stabilized, my energy became consistent. Time felt different. Before, time felt like it was running away from me. Now it felt like I had more of it.
Not because I magically gained hours, but because I stopped wasting them. And that changes how life feels. Because when you feel like you have time, you think better, you act calmer, you make smarter decisions. And here's something nobody warns you about. Discipline is quiet. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. It's repetitive and boring. But that's exactly why it works. Because boring things are sustainable. And sustainability beats intensity every single time. By day 30, I expected some big revelation, some dramatic, this changed my life forever moment. But that's not what happened. Instead, everything just felt aligned, clear, controlled, intentional. And honestly, that was better than anything dramatic. Because real change doesn't feel like chaos. It feels like stability, like things finally making sense. Looking back, the biggest shift wasn't waking up early. It was becoming someone who follows through. That's it. Because think about it. How many promises have you made to yourself and broken? I'll start tomorrow. I'll fix my habits. I'll be more disciplined. And then, nothing changes. Not because you're lazy, but because there's no system. This experiment forced me to close that gap. Every morning was a decision point. Show up or don't. And repeating that decision daily, it rewires you. Because identity is built through repetition, not intention. Another thing I learned, discipline is not about being perfect. It's about recovering fast. There were days I felt exhausted, days I didn't want to do anything. But instead of quitting, I just showed up anyway, even if it wasn't perfect. That's the difference. Perfection stops progress. Consistency builds it. I also noticed something powerful about momentum. Starting the day with a win changes everything. It creates a ripple effect. You feel more capable, more in control. And that feeling carries into everything else. Tasks feel easier. Decisions feel lighter. Focus becomes natural. Because your brain has proof now. Proof that you follow through. And that builds confidence. Not fake confidence, real confidence. The kind you don't need to announce, you just feel it. Time also changed for me. Before this, I was always catching up, always behind, always rushing. Now, I felt ahead, calm, prepared. And that changes how you move through life. You stop reacting, you start choosing. And that's a completely different way to live. I also became more protective of my time. Because once you see how valuable it is, you stop giving it away so easily. Distractions lose their power. Priorities become obvious, and decisions become simpler. One of the biggest realizations, habits shape identity. Every action is a vote for who you are becoming. Wake up early, you're voting for discipline. Hit snooze, you're voting for comfort. And over time, those votes add up until they define you. That's why small habits matter so much, because they're not small over time, they compound. Another underrated factor, environment. If your environment fights your habits, you will struggle. If it supports them, everything becomes easier. Simple changes make a huge difference. Phone away from bed, clear workspace, less noise, more intention. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer obstacles. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But systems, they stay. And systems are what create results. This experiment also taught me balance. Because waking up early means nothing if you're exhausted. Sleep matters, recovery matters, sustainability matters. Extreme routines look impressive, but balanced routines actually last. And lasting is what matters. Because real change takes time. Not days, not weeks, time. By the end of this, waking up at 5 a.m. wasn't the win. The win was trust. Trust in myself. That I'll do what I say. That I'll show up. That I won't quit when it gets uncomfortable. And that kind of trust, it changes everything. Because once you trust yourself, you stop relying on external validation. You stop waiting for the right moment. You stop needing motivation to act. You just move. And that's powerful. So if you're thinking about changing your life,
Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a massive plan. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need a starting point. One small decision, repeated daily. That's it. Because that's how everything begins. Not with intensity, but with consistency. Control your mornings, and you start controlling your days. Control your days, and you start controlling your life. And if there's one thing this taught me, it's this. Your brain will try to sabotage you every single time. But if you stop negotiating with it, you win. Simple as that. So the real question is, what's your 5 a.m.? And are you actually going to show up tomorrow or just think about it again? My name is Peter, and I hope this video made you rethink the way you approach your habits, your time, and the promises you make to yourself. If this gave you even a small shift in perspective, hit like, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more content like this. Share this video with a friend who needs that push right now, and go check out the next video on your screen.